So this is some Transformer news that people have been bombarding me the past 24 hours to talk about. It's a whole bunch of target listings that have just recently surfaced in relation to the future Transformers Legacy/Evolution line, as well as some Studio Series listings. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go through these. I'm going to cross-reference this with other kind of leaks that were sent to me privately, I want to say a month and a half ago, and try to make sense of everything here. And then we could all kind of speculate together and get excited about what we could be potentially getting in 2022, 2023 moving forward, because a lot of this stuff kind of falls into that category. Don't expect any of this kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about today to show up on Fan First Friday tomorrow. Let's put it that way. So let's jump into that. These are all Target listings, so it does confirm their legitimacy. You could actually open up the Target app and find these, although they might have been removed since then. So let's do it. So the first one here, this is a big one, Leader Class Dragon Megatron. So anyone who can make that connection, we're talking our Transmetal 2, I'm using air quotes here, Beast Wars Megatron, our big Dragon Megs. Pretty awesome stuff to have that one. They need to have a Megatron every single series. I like that they could go that direction. Pretty cool. What's cool about also having that Leader Class Dragon Megatron is not only do they revisit a mold that today is, like that original toy, a lot of times I buy and sell it in parts parties, and I notice that it does have fragile parts and it's plastic, especially in its ankles. In the robot mode, it's a thinner kind of plastic for the red, so something that could be a nice update of that with a modern engineering would be pretty cool. And again, the repaint potential and retooled potential is there too, because you could get a cryotech out of that, include some little golden discs. That'd be really cool. And then you could do a retool of it and get a Beast Machines Megatron out of it too. His season 1 kind of appearance, which is just really a retool repaint of this Dragon Megatron. So you could get a little bit of traction out of this and get a Beast Machines toy out of it too. Just like how the original Beast Wars Megatron kind of technically gave us a Beast Machines toy out of it with T-Rex. So with that repaint. Next up, let's jump into another part of the Transformer continuity, a Voyager class Armada Starscream. Now, what's cool about this is because, Armada Starscream, originally a mega class, as he was called, with the Armada toy line, and then you jump into years and years later with the Thrilling 30 Generations line, and they made him a deluxe, and that's partially because also how Starscream's design was in the comic books at the time. It was invoking that Armada design. Of course, both of those, both the original Armada toy and the Thrilling 30 Deluxe of that design got repainted plenty of times, that it'll only make sense that we're looking at today our next Seeker mold that's going to be repainted into everyone else like crazy. Whether it be a Ramjet, whether it be a Thundercracker, whether it be a Skywarp, there'll be repaints, there'll be repaint retools, and we will all love it, and it'll be excited about it. The only thing that's interesting about this, and it's like a double down on it, because we'll talk about it later, but we are expecting at some point that we're going to be getting combiners. And Starscream's Micromaster, well, actually it's a Minicon, but Starscream's Minicon partner, I hope they call it a Minicon, not a Micromaster, is named Swindle. If we are going to be getting combiners in the future, I wonder if they're going to use the Swindle trademark for his Minicon. Will he even come with a Minicon? Will he even come with a Minicon activation gimmick? So that's another extra layer of that from a trademark standpoint, also from just a presence standpoint, because a lot of these generation toys are not really toyetic in that sense with flip out stuff and everything like that Armada is known for. But we shall see. Again, even his deluxe figure didn't come with a Minicon, didn't have really the flip out gimmick. It had something, but it didn't have something in the same kind of way. But we shall see. Then we got here for $9.99, which is clearly the core class price point, Soundwave. This is probably, just to take a guess, just a repack of the core class Kingdom Soundwave. Kind of a shame. I was kind of hoping that maybe they could just do a black repaint. But I think that, historically we've seen now where you have tail end Siege toys, they end up in Earthrise, and then you have Earthrise toys like RC and stuff get repackaged into Kingdom. So I think it's kind of the same thing too. Hey, let's take a few Kingdom toys that we're proud of from a Hasbro design standpoint. And by the way, that Soundwave is fantastic. So regardless of the fact, have it repackaged here, and you keep that Soundwave trademark going for another year if it lines up with an expiration, as opposed to if they did a black repaint and called it Sound Blaster, different story. But again, I would have liked the black repaint, but that's just me. Then we have here Energon Monster. And now this could be one of a few things. It could be also potentially just taking the core class Vertebrake / Dracodon fossilizer, whatever you want to call it, mold, and repainting it into, I don't know, purple, give it, an Energon kind of color scheme, or like a light blue. But it also could be a brand new character. When we think of an Energon Monster, we think of something like Kremzeek. Could we get potentially a transforming Kremzeek kind of character, or is it just going to be a straight up Vertebrake repaint, retool, whatever? Maybe if it's a Vertebrake retool into yellow, like Kremzeek, who knows? Could be interesting. That one I'd like to get more information on. Now we have a Bulkhead listed at $29.99, so we're talking our Voyager price point again. On the rumor sheets that I got previously, the Bulkhead that was listed on here was a Transformers Prime Bulkhead, and he's actually a retool of the Transformers Prime Optimus Prime found in the same line. So you're going to have Transformers Prime included in this line, which isn't on this list here today. That's just on the previous rumor sheet that I had. And then Bulkhead's going to be an extensive repaint retool of Transformers Prime Optimus Prime. So that's all I really got on that. A lot of people were like, oh, is it going to be the Energon version, who's a really obscure character, which was actually called Sprung in Superlink? Is it going to be the animated version? Which Bulkhead is it going to be? The one that I was told was Transformers Prime. So here's an exciting one. Deluxe class, Beast Wars Tarantulas. I mean, we knew it was coming. At some point, they're going to extensively retool that Black Arachnia, and we're going to get Tarantulas. Long overdue. Love that character. Great voice actor. Awesome dude. So can't wait for that one. That's exciting. Not much more I could really say. Just, hey man, Beast Wars Tarantulas, long overdue. And hey, we'll get some fun repaints out of it or something afterwards. They'll figure out how to do something with that mold. If not, again, it's already a repaint retool of Black Arachnia. It'll probably be a very extensive one. It won't be one for one the same. You'll see the general R&D and design engineering there, but it will be its own standalone thing, and it will look amazing. We have a Deluxe class G1 Skids. This is the one that everyone was rumoring themselves when they saw the Jurassic Park JP3. And I mean, it's pretty obvious where that tooling and engineering is going to come from. So Skids is probably going to be a heavy, extensive repaint retool of the Jurassic Park crossover figure. We knew it back then. Chances are that's what it's going to be. Chances are. I was actually hoping maybe even a Red Alert, but from Armada, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe that'll be the repaint retool of it afterwards. You could get a lot out of a Skids if the Masterpiece toy is any indication. Now here we have Deluxe class Drag Strip. This kind of keys into the bigger overall thing going on with Legacy, because the rumor is that Menasor is going to be a combiner that's present. Motormaster is going to be the commander class, and all the other Stunticons will also be Deluxes. So here we just have the first piece of that puzzle in that of Drag Strip. Drag Strip's a Formula 1. Depending on how accurate they want to do it, he hasn't been getting his Tyrell 6-wheel, which is what he really has always turned into. He's always been kind of a Mirage repaint. So a open wheeler, but with 4 wheels. There's a historical significance with Drag Strip's alt mode. If you're a big Formula 1 guy, you'd know about that. But if they go with the Tyrell 6-wheel, that kind of limits the amount of repaints that you could really do. Maybe do a G2 repaint. And then after that, I guess original characters if they want to have fun. Or a Shattered Glass color scheme. I don't know. But I'm excited about it, though, because, hey, it's a Formula One Transformer, and you know me with my Formula One Transformers. Love that. Now, here's one that's confusing. I want to believe it's either a listing mistake or something. We have a Studio Series 86 Ratchet, but it's listed at $8.49, which is that of the, I guess, the more legend scale kind of price point. Unless this is like a dead Ratchet corpse and it's like just a piece of it and it doesn't transform, then I could believe it, you know, dead in the Autobot shuttle. But it doesn't make sense otherwise. I think this is a mistake somewhere. I think it's more of a deluxe class, but we'll find out more. That one's kind of confusing because then it's followed up by a Studio Series 86 Rumble, which is again also that legend smaller price point, $8.49. Which that one makes more sense. Standalone cassette, transforms, you know, first we crack the shell, then we crack the nuts inside. So hype for that one, pretty cool. That's definitely, again, another Studio Series 86. Add to that, and this was part of a larger list, but the only one we have listed here, a Studio Series 86 Deluxe class Kickback. So we're getting our Insecticons, we're getting them in a nice deluxe price point after them being a smaller price point for the longest time in our Generations-esque, universe-esque kind of line, unless you count the Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron reimaginations. So this is pretty hype. The list that I got previously, all those months ago, had all of them there, 1, 2, and 3, Bombshell and Shrapnel. So expect all 3 sooner or later. That's pretty cool. Bring it on, even though Bombshell technically was very absent, very, very absent in the movie. He's in the background when we have our reformatting scene, but it's all about Kickback and Shrapnel, actually, for a majority of the movie. But Bombshell's there, just chilling in the background, if anything, but he'll be part of it because you got to have the trio. You got to complete it. Then we got a Studio Series Tf3 Laser Beak. So this is Dark of the Moon. He's also going to be, again, that more smaller legend scale. Again, previously, his original toy was an extremely oversized deluxe class that had a whole bunch of QC issues. I know a lot of people were showing how they were breaking the neck on that deluxe class Dark of the Moon one. So we're going to get a much more smaller, tinier, in scale, you know, killing Ken Jeong deluxe class, Legends class Transformers Dark of the Moon Laser Beak. Again, we could get a repaint out of that, maybe get a pink repaint, get that Bumblebee colored one or whatever. There's not many repaints you could do with that one to have fun, but Studio Series in general isn't known for repainting a lot of their stuff. It's something that only will probably be a recent idea. So not much creativity is going to be needed for, well, what do you do afterwards with that mold? Here's a confusing one. Studio Series TF7 Wheelie. Now, technically, TF7 is Rise of the Beasts when you really look at it from the connection of the live-action movies and the numbering of it, if you want to even apply that to it. And even TF7 was applied to the back of the director's chair for the recording of Rise of the Beast in Montreal. I saw it myself with my own 2 eyes. But I think that this might be more of a toy listing kind of thing, and when we think about the 7th movie added to the Studio Series line, it could be a Studio Series 86, a TF7 being the 7th movie of Studio Series being the animated movie. So maybe it's a Studio Series 86 wheelie that's transformable, that's tiny, and that could be put on the back of your Grimlock that isn't in a squat position all the time. Could be. Could be wrong, because the flip side of it is a Studio Series Rise of the Beast wheelie that we have from Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, and so on and so forth. Which I also love that character too, so I'd be interested to see what they do there. Always had a soft spot for that little crazy dude. Then we got a Studio Series 86 Blaster. This one was also on the previous listing. Absolutely awesome. My first Transformer. Can't wait for it. Voyager class. He'll look great. He'll look super awesome. And we'll finally get a decent blaster, because I think that all the blasters we've gotten up to this point really didn't invoke that old Fleero Deary Season 2 G1 design. So I really am excited to see what we get here. And he'll probably get his cassettes at some point. So that's awesome. That's going to be a day one purchase from the Proto Man, that's for sure. Then we got a Ravage here for also $849 Legend scale. Probably going to go with the Studio Series 86 Rumble, probably the little Ravage. Hey, awesome stuff. It's interesting, like we're going to have cassettes that are going to be available, and sharing the shelf space that's going to work with those cassettes will be a blaster instead of a Soundwave. Because the Soundwave technically will probably also be compatible from his Kingdom and his Netflix stuff, but at the same time, not Kingdom, Earthrise and Siege. But it'll be blaster that'll be on the shelves for the kids or people to buy and kind of put the cassettes in his chest. Now we have a Voyager scale Inferno. Much like Tarantulas, there is no mention of a Beast Wars or otherwise. They don't say Beast Wars Tarantulas. They don't say G1 Skids. So we just have a Inferno. Now, it could be the Fire Ant. It could be a Kingdom repack. I want to have hope that it's the Fire Ant. I really do. I really hope that it's the crazy Fire Ant. But on the flip side of it, we've had, a Voyager, Earthrise Starscream find his way into Kingdom as a repack. It wouldn't surprise me if somehow a Voyager scale Inferno from Kingdom find his way as a repack into this Legacy Evolution line. So let's see what happens. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking it's probably going to be the Fire Truck, which I love the Fire Truck. Don't get me wrong. He was also a childhood favorite. But I would really prefer it if it was the Fire Ant, because Inferno is awesome. And again, his original toy, clear red plastic, starting to get kind of brittle today. He needs an update, and he probably will have a spectacular update if it does happen. Last one here on the list is an RC, and it's tied to what my previous list had. People are speculating, is it a repack of the original Earthrise toy? Really? A third time? Earthrise release, then a Kingdom repack, and now again? No, it's definitely not going to be that. Potentially people are going, oh, is it the animated RC? Is it a movie RC? The listings that I got originally months ago said that it's a Transformers Prime RC, so that'll be pretty cool to see them tackle that character as a deluxe price point again the third time around. The first edition one did a pretty good job. I found that it kind of got perfected with the second version, which we'll call it air quotes here, the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise line. Kind of got perfected with that version. And so we'll see what they do the third time around. And of course, we have the Transformers RED one that's pretty cool too. It's the only robot enhanced design one that I really like. So we'll see what happens with that. And last but not least, they also said that Tidal Wave is not the next Titan class, which is some bad news for some people. But, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that. That's to try to end on a downer there, but pretty interesting stuff. There's a lot of things to be excited about, a lot of different repaint potential there that could, make the foundation for the future of the line, for the future of Generation Selects and Hasbro Pulse and repaints and store exclusives and all that crazy stuff. But looks really exciting. A lot of cool stuff. Let me know what you think. This is the future of our brand. It's pretty much confirmed, and it's a little bit of something for everybody, a little bit for G1 people, a little bit for, those 2000 kids with Armada, a little bit of Transformers Prime for that mid-2000s kid, a little bit of Beast Wars for those 90s kids. Everyone is happy. It's the Legacy, it's the Evolution, it's the Transformers Legacy Evolution line.